I saw my reflection, but it was not me. The flickering fluorescent light of the bathroom mirrored back a face I barely recognized. Tired eyes, etched with worry, stared back. 6 months. 6 months since Sarah. 6 months since the world went grayscale. I had not been sleeping well. The design firm Thorn Daughter, now just Thorn, was hemorrhaging money, and the only daughter, my beautiful Sarah, was gone. I splashed cold water on my face, trying to shake off the persistent fog. As I reached for the towel, I saw it, just for a split second. My reflection hesitated. I froze, towel halfway to my face. There. It was a minuscule delay, a fraction of a second, where my reflection had not mirrored my movement. I blinked. Nothing. Just me, haggard and haunted, in the mirror. Just tired, I muttered. Really tired. But the seed of unease had been planted. The next few days were a blur of deadlines and insomnia. The small, subtle discrepancies continued. A fleeting smirk when I was feeling anything but amused. A brief flash of sadness in the reflection's eyes that I certainly was not experiencing. I started avoiding mirrors, which, in my small Chicago apartment, proved harder than I thought. Hallway mirror, bathroom mirror, even the darkened screen of my laptop showed my face in distorted relief. One morning, I was sketching a renovation design for a client when I noticed it again. I was frowning in concentration, but my reflection was smiling. A slow, predatory smile that made my skin crawl. I slammed my laptop shut. Enough. I started keeping a journal, document every instance, every flicker, every unsettling detail. Dates, times, descriptions. A desperate attempt to prove to myself I was not insane. October 27th, 7:14 a.m. Bathroom mirror, slight delay in blinking, impression of annoyance in reflection, although I felt nothing. October 28th, 9:32 p.m. Laptop screen. Reflection smiled while I was working on the Peterson residence plans. Felt malicious. Anya Sharma, my therapist, listened patiently as I recounted the events. She attributed it to stress, sleep deprivation, and of course grief. Elias, she said, her voice gentle, you have experienced a significant loss. It is not uncommon to experience unusual perceptions during periods of intense stress. We can explore medication options if that helps. I bristled. Medication? I was not crazy. I was seeing something real. Something wrong. I delved into the history of the building. It was old, built in the early 1920s. Elegant in its time, now slightly faded and worn around the edges. I found old newspaper clippings online, a fire in the basement in 1958, a suicide in apartment 703, right across the hall from mine, in 1972, and then a small, almost overlooked article from 1938. Mysterious mirror linked to unexplained events. The article detailed the discovery of an antique mirror in the building's basement. Residents claimed the mirror caused strange occurrences, nightmares, hallucinations, and even doppelgangers. The mirror was supposedly removed, but the article did not specify where it went. The basement. I waited until late that night when the building was quiet. Armed with a flashlight, I descended the creaking stairs to the basement. The air was thick with dampness and the smell of mildew. Pipes snaked across the low ceiling, casting long, distorted shadows. The basement was a labyrinth of storage units and forgotten junk. I navigated through the maze, the flashlight beam cutting through the gloom. Then I saw him. Mr. Henderson, my elderly neighbor from across the hall. He was hunched over a dusty box, his eyes gleaming in the dim light. Looking for something, Elias? He asked, his voice raspy. Just exploring, I said, feeling foolish. Did you know there was a fire down here a while back? Mr. Henderson chuckled. Fire, accidents. This building has seen its share of troubles. Some things are best left undisturbed, son. There are forces at work we do not understand. The other side, it bleeds through sometimes. The other side? Mirrors, he whispered, his eyes darting around the basement. They are not just reflections, you know. They are doorways. Be careful what you look for, Elias. Some things look back. He shuffled away, leaving me alone in the darkness, his words echoing in my ears. The following days were a nightmare. The reflection grew bolder, more assertive. I started finding messages written on the bathroom mirror in condensation. You are weak. Give in. She is waiting. She, Sarah. It was using Sarah against me. Then it started mimicking her. Small things at first. The way she used to brush a stray hair from her face. The way she would hum a particular tune while cooking. It was subtle but devastating. One evening I was staring at my reflection, trying to decipher its int when it spoke. "Elias," it said, its voice a distorted echo of my own. "Do not you miss her?" Tears welled in my eyes. "Do not you dare," I choked out. "Do not you dare use her." The reflection smiled. "She is right here, Elias, just closer than you think." It started saying things only Sarah would know. Inside jokes, private memories. It was a cruel, twisted parody of my lost love. I turned to the internet, desperate for answers. I found an obscure forum, hidden deep within the digital shadows, dedicated to mirror entities. The posts were rambling, paranoid, and often contradictory. Some claimed the entities were demons. Others believed they were manifestations of suppressed desires. One user suggested a cleansing ritual involving salt and burning sage. Another warned against making eye contact with the reflection. I posted my own experience anonymously. The responses were mixed. Some dismissed me as delusional. Others offered cryptic warnings and advice. One message stood out. "They want to replace you. They feed on your weakness. Do not let them in." Detective Michael Davies showed up at my door on a Tuesday afternoon. He was a seasoned cop, his face etched with the wariness of 1,000 unsolved cases. "Mr. Thorne," he said, his voice gruff, "we are investigating the disappearance of a woman, Miss Emily Carter. She lived in this building, apartment 302. Neighbors reported she was acting strange before she vanished, talking to herself, seeing things in the mirror." My blood ran cold. Miss Carter mentioned seeing a figure in her reflection. Davies continued, his eyes narrowed. "Said it was trying to take over her life. Does any of this sound familiar?" I denied everything, of course, but I could see the suspicion in his eyes. He thought I was involved in her disappearance. The reflection capitalized on the situation. It subtly sabotaged my work, causing me to miss deadlines and make costly mistakes. My clients started dropping off. Dr. Sharma urged me to take a leave of absence, but I refused. I could not afford to lose my business. The reflection was isolating me, cutting me off from the world. One night, I woke up to find the reflection standing on the other side of the mirror, its features sharper, more defined. It reached out, its fingers pressing against the glass. I recoiled in horror. "It is time, Elias," it said, its voice a chilling blend of my own and Sarah's. "Let me in." It lunged at the mirror, its fist shattering the glass. Shards of glass flew everywhere. I screamed and stumbled backward, shielding my face. The reflection was no longer confined to the mirror. It was standing in my bathroom, a twisted, distorted version of myself. I grabbed a shard of broken mirror, my hand shaking. "Stay back!" I shouted. The reflection laughed. "What are you going to do, Elias? Hurt yourself?" It lunged again, and this time it connected. Its nails raked across my arm, leaving deep, burning scratches. I screamed in pain and lashed out with the mirror shard, striking it in the face. The reflection staggered back, clutching its cheek. "You cannot stop me, Elias," it snarled. "I am already inside you." I knew what I had to do. I had to find the mirror from the newspaper article, the one in the basement. It was the source, the anchor point. I raced down to the basement, ignoring the pain in my arm. The door to the storage unit where I had seen Mr. Henderson was ajar. I pushed it open and stepped inside. Mr. Henderson was there, sitting on a stool, staring at a large, ornate mirror. It was old, the glass clouded with age, but I recognized it instantly. "I told you to leave it alone, Elias," he said, his voice trembling. "Now look what you have done." The reflection was standing behind me, its hand resting on my shoulder. "Hello, Mr. Henderson," it said, its voice smooth and menacing. "We have some unfinished business." Mr. Henderson's eyes widened in terror. He tried to stand, but the reflection shoved him back down onto the stool. "Do not," I screamed. "Leave him alone." The reflection ignored me. It turned its attention to Mr. Henderson, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. "You knew all along, did you not?" it said to Mr. Henderson. "You knew what this mirror was capable of." Mr. Henderson did not answer. He just stared at the reflection, his face pale with fear. I knew I had to act fast. I grabbed a nearby hammer and raised it above my head. "I am warning you," I shouted at the reflection. "Let him go." The reflection smirked. "Go ahead." "Elias," it said. "Smash the mirror. See what happens." I hesitated. What would happen if I destroyed the mirror? Would it banish the reflection, or would it unleash something even worse? The reflection seized the opportunity. It grabbed Mr. Henderson and held a shard of glass to his throat. "One move, Elias," it hissed, "and he is dead." My mind raced. I could not risk Mr. Henderson's life, but I could not let the reflection win. Then I remembered Sarah, her warmth, her kindness, her unwavering belief in me. The reflection might mimic her, but it could never truly replicate her spirit. Sarah would not want this, I said, my voice trembling but firm. She would not want you hurting anyone. The reflection faltered for a moment. A flicker of confusion crossed its face. She is gone, Elias, it said, its voice losing its edge. She cannot help you now. She is not gone, I said, my voice gaining strength. She is right here with me. I closed my eyes and focused on my memories of Sarah, her laughter, her touch, her love. I poured all my energy, all my grief, all my love into those memories. When I opened my eyes, the reflection was gone. Mr. Henderson was unharmed. The mirror was still standing, but it seemed quieter, less menacing. Detective Davies arrived moments later, drawn by the commotion. I tried to explain what had happened, but he looked at me with a mixture of concern and suspicion. He took Mr. Henderson's statement and promised to investigate further. I returned to my apartment, exhausted and shaken. I boarded up all the mirrors, every reflective surface. I could not bear to look at myself, not yet. Dr. Sharma increased my therapy sessions and prescribed anti-anxiety medication. I started sleeping better, but the fear lingered. Was the reflection truly gone, or was it just lying dormant, waiting for another opportunity to emerge? A few weeks later, I was sitting in my living room, working on a new design project. I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the darkened screen of my laptop. Just for a second. There was a slight delay in its movements and a fleeting smirk on its face that I certainly was not feeling. I slammed my laptop shut, my heart pounding in my chest. Maybe Mr. Henderson was right. Maybe some things are best left undisturbed. I still see mirrors, but I try not to look.